Have you ever heard that crazy expression, he was beside himself, she was beside herself? I think that's hilarious. It always makes me see in my mind's eye a vision of myself right beside myself, and everything's kind of wobbling and unbalanced. It's crazy. But I've found through the years, with all my exploring for my true nature, that most of the answers I come up with that guide me to my true nature are right beside me. It's probably true for you. So here's an example. Years ago, I used to see people's faces changing. Little films, like see-through films, would move off their faces. And behind that, somebody would be ancient or young or a different nationality, a different race. And I was afraid that I was nuttier than a fruitcake. I was afraid I had some major problems. But what could these mean to me? Well, I learned that it can mean that I have a gooey intestinal tract, for starters. And it also can mean that I'm looking at some past life information. And that, if that's true, it'll be very relevant to my life right now. And very often when those things happen, those very situations and those very people brought me down through some circumstance or another. Interesting, huh? The information was right there, but I had to decode it. The second section is, what about gut aches? Do you ever have gut aches? We all do, don't we? And sometimes it can be because you have a bug or you have the flu, whatever, allergies. But sometimes it's because you've got somebody else's energy in your stomach. And if you figure that out, you can just ask yourself, is this mine? Whose is it? Is it mine? If it's yours, it's going to be really tight. If it's someone else's, it'll start to release itself. And what you can do is then feel what the information is in that gut ache, like anger, frustration, so on. And you can understand that other person. In the meantime, you have more access to your own true nature. Kind of magical, huh? Now the third section is visions again. Visions out of control. Maybe you're looking at the trees and the flowers and they look kind of macabre, things are changing. There's a lot of reasons for that. One of the most important reasons is that your fluctuating blood sugar can give you all kinds of hallucinations. So learn about your blood sugar. Instead of saying, this is me, start to monitor your own blood sugar and see what goes on. Also, intestinal tract. This is where you create all your neurotransmissions first and foremost. And if it's all gooey, if it's all loaded, you're going to have more fluctuations in how you see things and hear things. So as you clear all that, and even if you do dietary things and exercise, you're going to get in touch with some of your own gifts. And if your ability to see things is true to you and really strong, as you sort out those fragilities or weaknesses, your visions are going to get stronger and better. And you'll learn you have gifts. So sometimes we're hit with incessant crying. Have you ever had that? Crying and crying. Again, you could be crazy, you could be very depressed. But there are other things that can be. And sometimes, my guides always say 95% of the job of getting to your true nature is clearing. That's 95, that's a lot, right? So if you go through some energy release work like chiropractic or just energy release of any kind, craniosacral, acupuncture, anything, sometimes the library that you are from all you've ever been releases. And suddenly you're crying and crying. It could go on for days and days. Pay attention to that. Or it also could mean that you've been cutting up too many onions. It can be very physical and very simplistic. But let's get back to the energy release work. Let yourself cry and cry and cry. And I promise you, in a while, you'll come in touch with more of your true nature. You see, we really are beside ourselves. It's all sitting right there for us. We just need to release the blocks that have come in from social programming, habit, defense. It doesn't matter. This is Veronica Entwistle saying, it kind of is fun to discover you really are beside yourself.